Good morning, everybody. Thinking about you guys. I know we're going through a lot, kind of stuck at home, um, just trying to figure out what to do. And I'm having fun shooting these videos. So hope you guys are watching and that you're getting something out of it and at least knowing what I think. Again, don't feel like you can't leave comments or we can't have discussion about these things. Kind of want to open it up, especially if think I've said something wrong, go ahead. I know I'm not right all the time. Today we're going to do the standard 3. It's instructional strategies. And the first thing I'll do is read the standard. The teacher consistently promotes student learning by using research-based instructional strategies relevant to the content to engage students in active learning and to facilitate the student's acquisition of key skills. I'm afraid this video is going to kind of be short, but I do not want it to diminish how important I feel like this standard is. So I guess there's going to be a big thing at the end, maybe. But for now, this standard is so important. We've already talked about it in the first 2 standards. So with that, let's get started. I'm going to read a quote to you. The primary difference between effective and ineffective teachers does not lie in the amount of knowledge that they have about disciplinary content, the type of certificate they hold, the highest degree that they have earned, or the years they have been teaching in the profession. Rather, the difference lies more fundamentally in the manner in which they deliver their knowledge and skills while interacting with students in their classroom. I think that's a big quote. It comes from John Hattie's research, and if you're unfamiliar with his work, maybe use this time to look him up. I think it could change your whole teaching career. So, first, there's 2 things that I look for. Yesterday, I talked about how important plans were. Well, the first thing I look at is I look at the lesson plans to see if the teacher is planning teaching strategies. I look to see if they match up with your objectives. I look to see if you're intentional about the strategies you use. I look to see if you're using those strategies in the classroom. It's a mouthful, but I know it's important. If you're using a graphic organizer, do you know how you're using that graphic organizer? Do the students know how? Do they know how? I mean, do you know why? Do they know why? If you have students in small groups, would it be as effective as a large group? Or are you just doing small group because that's kind of what you've been doing? So those kinds of things I look for. If you're using cooperative learning groups, or do students know their roles in cooperative learning groups? Have they been taught what cooperative learning groups are? And do they know the objectives for that? And do you know the objectives for that? The second thing I look for is student engagement. And I want to point out here that there's a big difference between student engagement and on-task behavior. I see a lot of students that are on task that are not really engaged from time to time. I look to see if the teacher is making connections between the students and their future. Do the students have an active part in the learning process? Do they have any stake in the game? This is one of the reasons that we talk about relationships so much with students. It's so important. That quote about students don't care what you know until they know that you care is a big, important piece of student engagement. So here are some questions that you can ask yourself about teaching strategies. Do I use a variety of instructional strategies? Am I clear in teaching concepts and skills? Are the students engaged? And I mean really engaged. Do they have a stake in the game? Can I anticipate what strategy will get me the outcome that my students need? Do I use higher order thinking questions as part of my daily routine? And how am I making the lesson relevant to every student's future? I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I ask teachers in interviews. One of the things that I ask them is, what's the most important indicator of student success? And if somebody tells me that the most important thing is family life or how they were raised or poverty level or anything that the student can't control, we usually do not hire that person. I really believe that the most important thing in a student's success is the teacher. And I feel like you should believe that as well. So I feel like it's that important. So this standard asks, are you doing everything that you can to make sure that your students are successful? And if you are, you don't have any problems with this standard. And if you aren't, this may make you want to look at some things and see if you can improve in this area. I'm going to also send out some research-based instructional strategies in that Google Classroom if you're interested in that. Again, I'm thinking about you guys and your families. Hope everybody is staying safe. And thanks, and have a great day.